Hello and welcome to episode 53 as we go over our fond memories of the Phantom Menace and we reveal that winner from our special giveaway. Stay tuned for more. Hello, explorers, and welcome to episode 53. And as always, joining me is a friend as loyal as Chewbacca to Han and as reliant as the Falcon itself. It's the main pilot himself, the old guy Jedi, Jimmy.
Howdy.
How's your week been, Jimmy?
Hectic, busy, eventful, and exciting. We wrapped up the last week of school. We just finished up our big league meet on Saturday when our girls won their sixth straight swimming league championship. So that was pretty exciting. And then our seniors last week is this week. Plus, we're headed off to state competition Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So busy, but fun. All those early mornings and late nights make it worth it when it all comes together. So very cool. How about you?
Nice. Yeah, busy as always. Just started a new posting, new job. Got like a little promotion at work. So being busy working. Saturday I had football, did some practicing for that. And then today, Sunday, played football for the regiment. So soccer, as the Americans call it over there. Not a bad result, 3-3. As you can see, when you see the YouTube, I am red. I'm sunburnt to death. It was overcast, but I'm really starting to feel it. But no, not a bad week at all, if I'm honest. So, as always, then, we have got a whole bunch of new explorers joining us. Jimmy, your time to shine as always, buddy.
All right. Jedi Master Bobby 21, Brian Mike Wasson, David Ferguson, Star Wars Blasta Film, Sean Francis, Pocket Watch and T, Yuki Kira, Galaxy of Star Wars, Secta MTB, and Daniel Bedinger. And so, yeah, not too hard this time.
Yeah, well done on that. Also, as well, we had we're going to do a little special shout out for Mike, the mailman. We received a little email. Jimmy's going to go ahead now and just read that out.
All right. So, yes, this comes from Mailman Mike the mailman. He says, "Hi, gang. Just wanted to drop a line to say congrats and let you know how this podcast has broadened my fandom. Jimmy knows how big a fan I am because I talk with him regularly, but we want to be sure Taylor and Jack know as well what the podcast means to me. Jimmy is my oldest friend. We were born one day apart in the same hospital. I'm the older, wiser one," he says. "He and I have been friends as long as I can remember, so the origin of our fandom is the same." I mean, I tell that story about Return of the Jedi and my dad, and Mike was the guy that was with us. So, yeah. And I went, my very first con was with Mike and his stepfather. So,
nice.
We're having saber battles in the woods with sticks. Back then, you had to use your imagination. I remained a fan throughout my life, but not to the level of you all. I watched all the movies, read some of the Legends books, watched the live action stuff when it came out on Disney Plus, but I didn't realize how much I was missing until the podcast came out. I started off listening as a favor to my buddy. I stayed listening because of the passion of three amazing people. I haven't missed an episode, from the amazing guests to the updates and the speculation to the show recaps to the top favorites list, etc. You all bring such passion that your fandom is contagious. In the past year, I've watched the entire Clone Wars series, Rebels, Bad Batch, and every other thing that has come out. I started playing Galaxy of Heroes. I've beat Fallen Order. I built my first lightsaber hilt. And I also got through the first two High Republic novels. I'm about to start number 3. You three have made me a bigger fan. Who knew that these cartoons could elicit such strong emotion? When Hera is looking off into the sunset after Kanan sacrificed himself and Chopper rolls up and reaches up his little manipulator to hold her hand, still hits me. So thank you for the entertaining shows. Thank you for cluing me into what I was missing, and thank you for sharing your passion. Just thanks and keep it up. I'll keep listening. Signed, Mike the Mailman.
Incredible.
So, yeah,
we
thank you, Mike.
Love these emails. Again, please keep sending them in. We'll pin these sort of things to the group as well. I know we've got a few on there from Wayne Cooper Smith, and I think Dan Briscoe's put one up on there. So again, Thank you to everybody that's been joining. The group is growing as always. It's getting bigger and bigger. We are looking to do even more things, hopefully as well. When we get to Japan, we've got some things lined up there. Again, thank you to everyone for joining. Remember, explore the Force, all one word, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, and Twitter, as you can see below on our new and improved studio. So please, as always, feel free to join. Now, let's head into this week's Force Encounters. Okay, so this week for myself then, as you can see, I got this delightful hat from my old pal, old guy Jedi himself, Jimmy. A lot of people have been asking, where can I get one? Where can I get one? So just wait out. Okay, hopefully the merch will be on the way soon enough. Jimmy's got his one there as well. Yeah, so we'll be getting them out hopefully at some point. Also, I finally got my Phantom Menace poster. Thanks for all the comments and likes and that on the socials for that. But apart from that, Star Wars wise, it's been relatively quite quiet, I think. What about you, Jimmy? How's your Force Encounter week been?
Yeah, it's been getting that email from Mike was pretty powerful. You know, it's why we got into doing this. And so to see that, because Mike is actually, I don't want to out him in front of everybody, but he's a big Star Trek guy. So, so I counted as a win that we got him. And he loves all fandoms though. But yeah, that was pretty cool. It's probably the highlight of my week was getting that email from Mike. But last night I was doing some work and I was flipping through YouTube and I found this video. I think it just came up. Adam Savage from the MythBusters TV show, pretty popular here in the States. He does a bunch of stuff. He used to work at ILM. He actually met up with the guys that built the model of Ahsoka's T6, T4? Wait, T6.
T6. Yeah.
And they said it was at Celebration and that barely anyone knew what it was. So it was at London. They had that. They had the Razor Crest. They had the Naboo Starfighter and something else. But anyways, it was really cool. The passion. It's only about 20 minutes long, and it's just Adam Savage kind of talking to the two guys that created it. Kind of gives them backstory, and they talk about Dave a lot and how things work. And it was really cool to see that and just the excitement that they have still, because it was two older guys, how much excitement they have for what they do. And so you go on there. If I can remember, I'll try to put the link for that YouTube show on there. It's pretty fun to watch, though. So I was really neat to see how it all works and everything that goes into it. So yeah, that was my big thing, happened last night.
Awesome. Happy days.
All right, now before we go into the main show, we're going to go ahead and reveal the prize winner of the giveaway.
Here we go. Yes, that's right. And there are 4 correct people. If you guessed the lucky number of 34, you are in with a chance. Like I said, there was 4 people. Unfortunately, I haven't got enough money to give everybody Black Series toys. So what we've done is we've made a little wheel generator. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, again, you'll see it because we'll do a quick screen share. Okay, and then you'll see it live. Whilst we've got you on the audio, we'll keep you going. Keep you updated who's going. So at the minute then, we've got Ed, Wayne, Helen, and Naomi with their correct guesses. So without any delay then, we'll spin the wheel of Force, and the winner is... Naomi.
All right, Naomi.
So congratulations.
All right. I think you've got a Black Series collectible coming your way. Jack will reach out and he'll get in touch with you.
Yes, congrats. And those again that never won, just keep listening out in the future because we are going to be doing more giveaways and more little quizzes. So again, just keep listening out. Your chance will come. Now, let's get to Batuu and see what news we've got coming out of there. Okay, so today then some new footage dropped from the Acolyte series. We are super hyped for this. What we saw from it, okay, there's only little snippets you've got to really start looking out for now. But essentially, we've seen a shot of May and the mysterious character on the rocks that people are presuming is the Sith or potential Sith that's in the forest. This was confirmed to a degree because now there's a shot of that same person on the rocks igniting their red lightsaber. So this pretty much points out that the Master Sith Lord we think it is in the forest is the same person on the rocks. Also, we've seen shots in the past of Sol and the other Jedi on like a snowy location, but we're not too sure why they're there yet. But we are pretty sure that they are after May for essentially killing Jedi. But also, you've seen shots again where she's declaring her innocence. Again, kind of similar to the Ahsoka series, trying to prove that she's innocent in that respect. However, we also see Yord Fandor coming face to face with the Sith as well. However, Yord seems to be on his back, and standing over the top of him is the Sith with their ignited red saber. So it's not looking good for Yord. What are your thoughts on that, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's exciting. The closer we get, we're not that far away now. And I think they've also released the stuff from the Phantom Menace. I think I saw on YouTube this morning. So there's getting more. Hopefully, we just get a little bit of snippets here and there. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to wait to freak out and say that they're ruining canon until after they've actually ruined canon. Tend to, that's kind of how I usually try to do it. Is I kind of wait until they've actually committed the crime. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for it, man. Like I said last week, or when we were doing the review of the trailer, if that fight scene is just like the beginning, because they're not going to show us the best stuff, like, and that was so fun to watch. Like, I'll
Oh, it's
probably
unreal.
I'll rewatch that 10 times just on YouTube. I can't imagine what it'll be like when I have the full thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Looking at that on your home screen, like you said, we need to put a copyright on it. We're calling it Force Foo here.
Yeah,
Explore the Force, a bit of a
horse food.
Force Foo.
Oh, all right. According to a new report from the Insider, Sigourney Weaver, the three-time Oscar nominee, is in talks to join The Mandalorian and Grogu. The Mandalorian series has had a tradition of hiring stars from the '80s, such as Michael Mann, who starred as in Aliens. He's also in a ton of great movies, Navy SEALs,
Yeah,
tons of stuff. But yeah, what do we think about Sigourney Weaver joining the cast? And
I'm excited.
yeah, I mean, how could you
Oh,
not be someone with
yeah,
her
I'm a big
action
fan.
background?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. She does also look quite similar to the mechanic. I forget her name now. Every time they land
Oh,
the
Peli
M1
Motto.
fighter. Yeah,
Yeah, Peli
she
Motto.
does. She does remind me of her. So whether she comes in as a sister or something, I think that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
But I just
I
hope.
see. Yeah,
Go
go
on.
ahead. Sorry. No,
I
no, go
just hope
ahead.
that whatever role they put her in, it's nothing similar to what they did with Jack Black and
Oh,
I can't remember the other singer's name because I thought it was a bit too comedic for me. That was.
and Christopher Lloyd's character was kind of pointless too, I thought.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, I see someone with Sigourney Weaver's action background in Aliens and just the intensity that she brings to all of her stuff. She will be in a phenomenal Mandalorian.
yeah, yeah,
Just man, even at, I
yeah,
mean, I know she's getting up there in age, but still, she'll knock it out of the park no matter
yeah.
what she does.
100%, 100%. In other news as well, Rogue One director Gareth Edwards has had his memorial spotted by his mum in the hometown of Nuneaton. Big news for me that because it's only down the road, so I'm going to try and get there and get some pictures in person. I think really funny story how it came to light for him. So essentially, well, I'll say it's funny. There was a bomb scare in Nuneaton town centre. So that people had to evacuate the town centre. So obviously his mum was out shopping. She was walking away or getting escorted away. And she spotted it, and she spotted the artists at the time, two local guys doing it. So she walked over, introduced herself. Lo and behold, literally moments later, she told them who her son was, and eventually they were FaceTiming Gareth Edwards live whilst he
Oh
was
my
in Los
gosh.
Angeles. Yeah, and he gave him some Star Wars art books as a little thank you. But yeah, the pictures are online. I'll try and get them up on Explore the Force group. But yeah, they look amazing. I definitely need to get there. It's only down the road, so
Yeah,
you
that'd
know,
be cool.
really, really, really great work there. What ticket news have we got, Jimmy?
Um, Ticket news: Saturday adult tickets sold out for Star Wars Celebration in Japan 2025, as well as the 3-day adults. If you weren't aware, so
Yes.
um,
Make sure you've got your tickets, guys. That's
yeah,
all we
make
can
sure you got
say.
your tickets.
Yeah, big
So
time. But we will
yeah,
say as well, because we're trying to help the other guys over. You've got Spencer and Tony Rosa doing a fantastic job at the minute with the Japan stuff celebration. You'll see us promoting them quite a lot. Essentially, jump over to their channel. Spencer's in charge of the virtual Cantina network. He runs the largest Star Wars celebration group there is, over 60,000 members on there. Again, we've got a good presence on there as well. And also Sif Talks. Get over there with Tony, loads of information. He's the guy that gave me all my information for my first celebration in London. And that pretty much wraps up all of this week's news. Okay, so welcome to the main part of the show, where we're going to be talking about the Phantom Menace. As always, we posted out a few questions on the Phantom Menace, and as always, the explorers came to us in their droves with their comments. So starting us off then, we've got Gracie Hill. She said it's the second best Star Wars movie in her opinion. Ian Mann, his favourite scene has forever been immortalised by his kid. Make sure you jump on the group and see that. It's absolutely quality. Thanks for that one, Ian. Reef Silius, he said he went and watched it and he thinks it was awesome. Lee the Tree, he said his favorite moment is when Anakin says goodbye to Shmi, and she says, "Don't look back." And as Anakin walks to Qui-Gon, the music swells and gives him the goosebumps. And the last person I've got is a good friend of ours, Alex Jessup. The Jewel of Fates for me. Maul is my favorite Star Wars character, and I think he's pretty much nailed everything for me in the Phantom Menace because I'm exactly the same as you, Alex. Jimmy, what have you got, buddy?
yeah. All right. Darren Briscoe said, I went to watch The Phantom Menace today for the upteenth time since its first release, but it had to be done for the 25th anniversary. I saw it in 4K or 4DX at Cineworld. That's where the seats move along with the on-screen action.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
wow.
Fans blow, lights flash, and water sprays while smoke swirls and your seat vibrates. What an absolutely brilliant way to see it. The pod race scene is outstanding. Watch it like this, and Qui-Gon's death is a poke in the back and a very visceral way to experience such a sad scene. Sheesh.
Oh,
Wow. And I had to wear my Darth Maul socks for such an occasion. Oof, that sounds intense. I didn't know they
that
had.
sounds awesome.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. 1/4 portion. That scene in the desert where Qui Gon first fights Maul. Yeah, that's a good one. Joe Man 99 says, if I said the entire movie, would that be fair? Yes, Joe Man 99. That is absolutely fair. Um, Wayne Cooper Smith, when Maul reveals his twin lightsaber. Yes. Still cannot believe they showed that in previews. But,
Yeah.
and then Jack, what, why don't we go ahead and get started?
Yes. So, like we mentioned, then all we're going to go through is a couple of our favorite moments and topics. And the first thing is we're going to go through some fond memories and the build-up and promotion work that they did. So, for me, just a bit of the promotion work that they did was on a show called Live and Kicking, where they basically got Jake, who played Anakin, on the show. And all, I think it was the Fun House on Channel 4, sorry, not Live and Kicking. They brought him on. They're doing loads of games with him. And for a young lad, his confidence was absolutely phenomenal. That's one of the fond memories I've got for the build-up. And as well, I don't know if you remember them, Jimmy, but they had like these sticky toy things with like extra long tongs where you could flick them on the wall and they'd stick. And I remember having a little Jar Jar one of that. You got any fond memories and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was working that summer away from home, so I didn't get to see a lot of like the TV build up when I was in college. Out after I got out of the army, um, this is kind of like the dark times for me because I mean, I kind of knew something was happening. Um, 'Cause I didn't really read like the Legends books and stuff like that, so I kind of had fallen away from Star Wars for a while.
Yeah.
And we worked at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, and it's an awesome place to work. It's super fun, and a couple of the guys on there were big Star Wars fans, and we all went and saw it together. And I just remember being like, "All right, Star Wars is back." I didn't necessarily like super like. I had issues with the prequels for a long time. Like I've struggled with some things with them, but the more I've watched them, the older I've gotten. Yeah, I love them. But the memories of getting to go with those guys was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Pretty early in the summer for us, so it kind of like bonded us. And again, I didn't see the reveal of the double bladed lightsaber until it happened on screen, and I about pooped myself because I was like, "What the hell is that?" You know. And seeing a double bladed lightsaber on a big screen was phenomenal. I'm sorry for everyone that got it ruined by watching the TV commercials and TV spots. But yeah, so that was awesome, and that really kind of jump started me back into things. I knew once I realized Star Wars was back, because I wasn't a big reader at the time. College, getting out of the army,
Yeah.
just lots of different things going on in your life. So, but yeah, that was great way to come back into Star Wars. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited.
it's funny you should say that as well, because one of the other memories I've got, because obviously I was 9 years old at the time, so it was the first Star Wars movie I'd seen at the cinema. My two good friends I know, yeah. But one of the things I had before the film came out was the book, had the pictures in and all that, and I'd read the entire book I think 3 or 4 times before the film even come out. So I sort of understood stuff what was going on to an extent. Obviously, being 9 years old, I was pretty not naive. My world was everywhere. I just remember sitting there, and the thing that will always sit with me, and we'll talk about it later on, is the pod racing, Maul's lightsaber.
Mm,
Obviously, the adverts for us over in the UK, we'd seen Maul's lightsaber, and like you, I just lost my head straight away. Absolutely insane. I absolutely fell in love with that character straight off the bat. But yeah, loads of good fun memories with it. Again, something else I saw, and I'm sure I posted it up earlier as well, is there was a scene again in America where they're all queuing up outside the door. The doors are open for the
mm.
cinema, and the first guy comes through, and he
Stumbles and
literally straight on the floor, kisses the floor, jumps up, sprints off, screaming and shouting with his friend. And I think it shows the scene like 10 minutes later, and all the fans aren't watching anything. No one's sat in their seats ready. They're all just lightsaber battles with each other, like kids,
yeah.
adults, everything. Have you seen that, Jimmy? Have you?
Oh yeah, that just popped up on my feed, I think, not too long ago with obviously with the 25th anniversary. They're showing a lot of footage from, people getting the excitement for the movie. This is back.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 21 or 22 when this came out, and I remember having to go and get in line. And I mean, this is like before you could buy tickets online and stuff like that. So you had to go to the theater, buy the tickets, get there because there wasn't preferential seating or you couldn't reserve seats. It's kind of an experience, to be sure. But yeah, I saw that. I mean, I lived through it because I was old enough to, be standing in line. I don't even remember if we went and saw it at midnight or I can't remember that part of it. Probably was. Um, I know that for the fact that I saw Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith at midnight. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I remember seeing that footage though. People just freaking out and going crazy, and
I love
that
it.
guy just stumbling into the
Yeah.
theater. People are
I love
nuts.
seeing stuff like that. The old school stuff is absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
I
And
hope.
then just go on, Jimmy.
I hope that we can get back there. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
I'm gonna recreate that scene for the first movie that comes out. Like the next movie that comes out, I'm gonna recreate that scene. I think
yeah.
just stumbling and Wah!
Oh, that'll be us in Japan, I think, mate. Just going through the doors.
Yeah, oh, that'll be awesome.
And then yeah, just speaking of the old stuff, we mentioned about the toys. So just lately, I've started picking up a lot of Phantom Menace collectibles, Wave 1 and 2. Off the top of my head, I think we've got Newt, Gunnery. I've got the pilot, the droid, destroyer droid. We've got Jar Jar. I'm keeping my eyes out for Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan,
Mm.
Mace Windu, those type of characters as well. Uh, I used to love the pod racer toys. You used to get, 'cause again, I absolutely love the pod racing. But you used to get the micro ones. I had a big suburban
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
I used to literally take that to bed and everything when I was a kid. I absolutely loved his pod racer. What about toys for you, Jimmy? Have you got any Phantom Menace collectibles or
I
anything
do have
like
a
that?
ton of Phantom Menace stuff. I was a big Kenobi collector. I have a bunch of things from the Phantom Menace, and I also collected when I first started getting back into it. My goal was to like get all the like Jedi and Sith or whatever they had. Uh,
Yeah,
why? So I have a bunch in storage in the storage unit down the road that I just don't have room for right now.
yeah,
But I have a ton of Phantom Menace 3 3/4 inch, and then some bigger toys like the big Kenobi and Qui-Gons that are like like I don't know
yeah,
7 8 maybe 10 12 inches probably. So I have some of that stuff, and then I have a bunch of Lego sets. Not from I wish they were from then because they'd be worth a gajillion dollars, but I got that Mos Espa 25th anniversary set.
I want
I
that
got
so
the
bad.
ATTE Lego set. I got the Republic gunship down here, so I got a bunch of stuff that they've re-released and a bunch of uh, Legos with like the 501st and things like that. They have a bunch of Clone
Yeah,
Wars stuff. So anything that's come out recently, I've gotten, and I've got a bunch of old stuff. I'd have to. It's been in storage for so long. we're actually planning to go through all that to see if we can't get rid of that storage unit. So it'll be kind of fun to go through all those toys and see what I've got in there.
Yeah. Well, if you need any toys being held on to, let me know.
I'll keep shipping
As
you
well,
stuff.
just reminded me actually of toys. The one thing I've got, well, I had at Christmas. I don't know if I still got it now. So you remember Darth Maul when he lands on Tatooine? He has the binoculars looking through.
Oh yeah.
I had those for Christmas, but they came with headphones as well. So you could put the headphones in, and whatever you was aiming at, you'd hold a button at the top, and you could hear what people were saying. A good like 200-300 meters away. Absolutely brilliant. I also got the Darth Maul. Yeah, it's wicked. I also had the Darth Maul, like piggy bank. So you could put the money in, and then it'd start moving and fighting. But what you could do as well, you could buy Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and put them together, and they're all connected like Lego. And they were a good 30 centimeters tall, and they'd battle. They'd all battle each other.
Oh, yeah, that's like the one Funko Pop they re-released. I got that sitting over there. It's one of the very few that I have out of the box because I needed to connect them. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Awesome. Next thing then we'll just go into is the battle scenes. Now, something I picked up on as an adult more than a child, obviously, was the amount of CGI that was used because ILM, Lucasfilm, they really pushed the boundaries. And I know going back and watching the making of and some of the other Disney shows that George was massive on using CGI in the Phantom Menace, I think, to a degree. I think it sort of worked as a double-edged sword as well, didn't it? Because it fell by the wayside. What do you think of it, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, he tinkered with it with the re-releases of Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6. And you think, I mean, it's probably too late by then, I'm assuming, because there was some backlash to some of the stuff he changed. And I like the stuff that he added. Some of the things that he changed, obviously, is when you got the whole, Han's shooting, first all started. But the CGI, that's been one of my biggest issues. And it still is a bit of a gripe for me is how new everything looks. Like, it's not that far removed from like Star Wars. Like, that was one of the things about the original trilogy that I loved is it looked lived in. And I thought everything looked kind of fake because it was so clean and so pristine. One of my favorite things in a comic book is when Vader takes that Naboo, Amidala's Naboo starship, that all silver one, and he drives it through the atmosphere and burns the bottom of it all up and chars it. I'm like, that's better.
Yeah.
But yeah, the CGI was nuts. I mean, it was so advanced. Jar Jar Binks thing. I mean, people give what can I think of his name? Andy Serkis, a lot of credit for Mo capture, but Ahmad Best, I mean, he's really the first one to do it at any kind of like advanced level. I mean, you see all the footage of him running around and how it changed from movie to movie. But yeah, the CGI, I don't know if it holds up. Like, I think that the original trilogy holds up a little bit better than the prequel trilogy, just with how much I mean, because now CGI, you can't even tell. Like, you have to have such a sharp eye, but you could definitely see it.
Yeah, especially with the volume stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I see it like, from a kid, like from a 9-year-old's point of view, like, you wouldn't have known. You'd have been like, holy crap, what's happening? This is amazing. Gungans are silly. I hope they win. And as an adult, I was kind of like, well, this is fun. It's not like the original, but and I'll be honest with you, I was a prequel hater for a long time. Like, I was kind of like the people I complain about now. And then I kind of was like, when I really got back into Star Wars, it's when I first heard about like Orlando and all those things. And I started getting into it and listening to podcasts. And fortunately, I found positive, I found like Force Center and things like that. And of course, I found the Star Wars Session guys a little bit later on and different people like that. Positive. Hey, you don't have to love it, but don't be a jerk about it. Like, find something to love. Like, and that was like my whole thing was like, and that's how I am now. I was like, why not find something to love in it? Because it is the franchise that I love the most than harping on what I hate,
Yeah.
And it's nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're never going to be able to get that nostalgia back. Like, you can't repeat what you felt as a 9-year-old boy. I don't care. I mean, it's just never going to happen. Like, you just have to go in and appreciate it. And, it's just like Marvel movies. They're not going to be able to surprise us anymore.
Nah.
The first couple were amazing, and that first big, Infinity War and Endgame, like, that was brand new.
Yeah,
They'll
they
do it
won't get any
again,
better than
and it
that.
won't
Yeah.
be the same. They might be better
No.
movies, but you'll never get that feeling back. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, sorry I went on that rant
Yeah.
there, but
No, but you've hit the nail on the head, like you said. You're not going to get that feeling back as a 9-year-old, and this is why I took my daughter Tessa. She's 8, and I took my lad James as well. He's 14, but he's seen it. I don't think Tessa had seen it before. We probably had it on the TV, but she hadn't probably seen it properly. And yeah,
yeah,
exactly. She was the same as me. Pod racing stuff she loved, but just sticking with
mm.
the battle scenes thing for now is yeah, the Gungans and the droids. It does get emotional as a kid when you start seeing the Gungans getting dropped, and you're
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
tough.
no,
That's
yeah,
right up there with Ewoks eating it at
yeah,
the that
yeah,
one Ewok that dies. You're like, oh,
yeah. It's pretty rough, and I think that's where Jar Jar comes into it as he is the one that kids can relate to. He's like I don't say a cuddly teddy bear because again you can relate it back to the Ewoks, but he's the character for the kids. I think
hmm
in the Phantom Menace, the young kids especially. But yeah, so you got that battle scene there. Obviously, then you've got the Droid Federation capital ship getting blown up with a young Anakin. Not too bad, quite like that. Similar to the Death Star run to an extent. I enjoyed that. Even as an adult, I thought that was pretty cool. Um,
yeah. I will say that I probably enjoyed it more now that I'm more of a positive fan,
yeah,
and that's saying something. Like I liked it, but like getting to go with my wife, and I took Eric. He's been on our show a few times, and some other people went with us, and I just I loved it. It's cheesy as hell. It really
yeah,
is. I mean,
yeah,
the, you know, the biggest knock on Lucas is his writing, but his dialogue. But it is what it is. It's fun. Let's
yeah,
try spinning. All these great memes and things like that from there. But um, it was a good start and good show for good start for Anakin. But yeah, I mean, this it is what it is. I enjoy it. I love
yeah.
space battles. Um, like I said, I still had issues with how new those ships look. They don't look like a TIE fighter or a
No, yeah,
X-wing. They look,
very
they
clean.
look, they look fake, like they should be in the water or something. They don't
Yeah,
look like they should be in space. But yeah, I think it was fun and just how silly it is. And of course, there's R2. You
yeah.
know, I mean, well, how twice in that movie he saves the day. R2
Oh
does.
yeah, we mentioned on the
So
previous episode how much of a
yeah,
a
yeah.
badass he is, and it shows from
So,
the off.
but I
And then
like,
obviously,
and of course, oh yeah, you're probably gonna talk about it right now.
yeah, no, go on, Jimmy.
Just that fight scene, the end. I mean, this
Yeah,
is what I mean as a as an original trilogy person. The fight scene in Empire is better than the fight scenes, obviously, in the original. In the original Star Wars, and then of course, Return of the Jedi is pretty intense. But my goodness, like I know it's pretty choreographed. Like I have issues with like the fight scene in the Last Jedi. Like I think
yeah,
it's kind of silly. Some of the stuff that happens if you watch closely, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Um, but they this is pretty intense. And then
oh yeah,
not knowing that we were going to get that battle in Revenge of the Sith, like this was like next level lightsaber dueling, and it just got better every movie.
yeah.
Yoda just reaching out and grabbing his saber, and you know we'll
This
talk
is
about
the
that in
effect.
2 years. Yeah,
This is the
like
effect
this.
that George said. He wanted to showcase the Jedi of old and really show them,
Yeah,
these guys can move with a lightsaber because he didn't really get the opportunity to do that with Obi-Wan, obviously, in A New Hope, and
no.
obviously Luke not being a Jedi of old, so to speak, a new generation. So he really wanted to showcase it, and like you were saying there, mate, this time not really that much special effects apart from like the backdrop that they're fighting on.
Mhm.
Ray Park, unbelievable martial artist. You see
He
him
still
iconic.
can do all that stuff.
Yeah, you chuck him a saber and he'll perform day in, day out. Absolute legend of
Yeah.
a guy. Really get great to talk to as well. And then Ewan McGregor, obviously Liam Neeson chucking it about a bit. I'm not sure if Liam Neeson did the lightsaber battles though. I don't think he did. I'm
I think
presuming
he
he
did
didn't.
some of this stuff. I believe he did some. I think
Yeah,
there's footage of them all practicing together, but I do know that like the big fight between Ray Park and Ewan McGregor. I know we've seen footage of that. Them practicing, getting ready for that. Um,
yeah,
I mean, just a great scene. I remember all the buddies I went with. We were all older, and they loved Darth Maul. And I'm like, got a little cocky, got a little cut in half. Like just.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and that was like, oh man, they just wasted that character. It's funny because now, like, that's why
yeah,
people just chill out about things that are coming out because, like, slice Maul in half and and then you're like, oh, that's the end of that character. But he's had such a impact on the story.
Probably
You know,
the
and you would have
biggest.
no idea when you were 9 or I was 21 or whatever that
Yeah,
character was ever going to be seen again.
insane.
You
And
know?
it's funny that you mentioned about Maul and your friends watching it, because again, I was watching my daughter Tessa, and when Obi-Wan jumps up, turns around and cuts him in half, because his body's upright to begin with, and then he falls and it goes in half. Tessa just came out with the loudest thing, and literally there were about 8 people in there, but everyone started laughing. As he fell in half, she just went, "Oh my gosh!" Because it's quite gory. It's quite
Yeah,
gory, really, that bit.
for a Star Wars movie, that's
Yeah,
probably. I mean, they've cut off hands and things like that, but
yeah,
getting
yeah.
sliced in half and then bouncing off the side of a
And a little bit of blood comes on. It really caught her
yeah,
off guard, and she didn't know what to do,
yeah,
because she'd like I said, with the Gungan stuff, enjoying it, like happy, and then it was just a, oh my gosh.
that'd have been awesome. That'd have
Oh
been
no,
awesome.
it was brilliant. But yeah, I think they were the 3 major battle scenes I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, we had the one in the desert, the battle scene at the start when you first see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan using the Jedi speed to get away from the droidekas.
Yeah, what happened to Jedi speed?
I think they just got old.
Like, you know, I mean, like that's actually not a bad. You know, I mean, you think about. I hope that when they make these new Rey movies that they use more force powers. Like I think they need to do like. I mean, as silly as it is, but if they can do it,
Yeah.
use it.
Look
Get
at
them out of
look at the
situations.
Jedi
Yeah,
Order game. Use some of the abilities from there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. So
there's a good foundation to work off. Now we already mentioned it a few times, but we'll go into Jar Jar now. This guy got so much heat to begin with, and you know he went through a lot of bad
yeah.
times, I think, and he stuck with it, and he stuck with it. He did the Jedi Temple stuff, you know, and then seeing him in the Mandalorian. Spoiler alert! I think that was his redemption, so to speak, but it
Oh,
shouldn't have been that way. And he played that
no.
character to perfection as well. I think, you know, there's no hints or clues about it. It was done perfectly. Um, Me personally, I never ever had an issue with George. I can hand on heart say I've never ever had an issue with him at
Well, you
all.
saw it as a kid,
Yeah, well, yeah, this is the
and
good
I
thing
think
about this today.
that's a huge difference. I think because what George wanted to do, he was successful doing because you know he says these movies are for kids, and grown men can't let that go for whatever reason. But um, yeah, I struggle with Jar Jar. I wasn't really sure what the point of him is. Now, I'm not one
Yeah,
of those fans who's going to be mad at Ahmad Best. It's like the people who went after um, what Kelly Marie Tran or the girl who plays Reva. Like they can't separate actor from characters. I'll say it's pathetic if you attack a person for the character they play.
yeah, they've
Um,
been given
you know,
or
yeah, it's.
told.
I mean, they're doing what they're told. It's a business. It's a job. And
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I struggled with Jar Jar for a long time. It was kind of was over the top, almost too much for me at the time. But now I can kind of take a step back, just appreciate it for what it was, as far as like cutting edge. You've got all this. I mean, the stuff that Amon Best did, and then finding out, you know, luckily for him, it was before social media. Because good lord, I don't even. I mean, he talked about. You know, the actor Amon Best talked about being on a bridge and almost jumping off of it because of all the hate he got
yeah,
before social media. So you can imagine what it's like. But then, like you said, he has been welcomed back with open arms. Keller and
yeah,
Beck,
yeah.
just awesome redemption. I mean, it was like a real redemption uh, arc. Like just when he comes out of there, and you're like, "Oh my God, it's all my." You know, I loved it for him. I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. Um, you know, and they made reference to Jar Jar in the Aftermath series, and it's kind of depressing. So I don't think things went well for Jar Jar after everything. But I don't
No,
know.
didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a scene like because in the Aftermath books, like what he did with like where Cobb Vanth came from, all that.
Yeah.
There's just these random little stories, and one of them was about this Gungan on Naboo, I think, that was juggling and doing stuff for the kids, but I don't think they ever say his name. It's been a long time since I've read that book, but
Nice. I'll have
uh,
to check that out because I've just
yeah,
got through the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it's in. It's in second or third one, I believe. But yeah,
Nice.
as far as Jar Jar goes, it's fine. Um, he's part of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this Darth Jar Jar Lego version
Yeah. Yeah. I
in
think that's going to
September.
be
That's
funny.
pretty funny, and I know that
And Ahmed
Hank.
Best has come back to voice it as well.
Yeah, so that's cool. I love it. I love the nostalgia of it. And I'm glad things have turned around for him, and
Yeah.
he enjoys being part of Star Wars now. Because I
Yeah.
mean, there's still one character who won't come back from this movie, and Jake Lloyd. Of everything, because Hayden Christensen will get destroyed for the next two movies for a long time, but he's beloved now, and
Yeah.
I just wish we could get Jake Lloyd back because the kid did a great job.
Again, he
You
got
know,
given a character. He got given the lines. What was he, 8
he's
years
like
old when he did it?
7 or 8 years old delivering lines. Like, I don't know, but yeah, Jar Jar's. And that's fun because you were so young and I was older. Think I can remember like my buddies like kind of making fun of like talking like if you were doing something stupid they talk to you like Misa thinks you an idiot like just
Uh,
it was kind of the whole thing that summer was just kind of like trashing on each other talking like Jar Jar if you did something dumb. So, but again the character is what it is, and I think
yeah.
George kind of learned. He kind of felt the pressure and pulled back a little bit on him, but I'd be down for more Gungans in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, me
So
too. Me too. I'd like to see him come back in. Um, so we mentioned Jake Lloyd, obviously famous for the child Anakin. Big thing for me, huge thing for me. Probably the best thing, one of the best things for me, the pod racing. I absolutely, and I still now, I love ships as it is, but pod racing for me, oh, chef's kiss. I love it. I absolutely, from literally the off, where they're all coming on, they've got all the different flags. You've got the
yeah,
two-headed alien with the commentary stuff. Jar Jar. Jabba comes out as well with his. I'm gonna say wife. Well, I think it's his kid actually, isn't it? I'm
yeah,
not
I
sure.
don't know.
I'm not sure. Obviously, they come out. Bib Fortune is there. All the pod races get off apart from two of them. I think it is because Anakin's one of them. Just the
Hmm.
whole entire build up of the race. It's the noise as well. The noise
Ooh,
really
that.
gets to me. There's one where Sebulba's behind Anakin. It's like a vibrating, like wobble noise sort of thing, like the engines
Hmm.
because you can feel. I'd love to have gone to that cinema with Darren with that
That's what I was
4D.
just thinking. Like that scene, that little 15, 20 minutes of pod racing, that would have been worth the ticket price to have your
What?
chair shaking.
Yeah,
When Sebulba's behind you, just boom, 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 like that.
yeah, yeah.
And you can hear it on your TV. And I don't know if you have a good, like, I don't have a great, like, sound bar or anything like on my television, but in the theater, man, cause I
It's
was kind of
insane.
tired that night. And when that scene come on and those sounds hit, I was like, man, what's that guy's name? Is it Paul Burke or John Burke or something like that? The sound guy for Star
Uh,
Wars
I
just
think it's Paul Burke.
absolutely crushes the sound effects.
Yeah,
And just, I mean, totally fits everything. And I loved it. Like that was the sound effects make that whole scene for me.
yeah, yeah,
So
100%. I love all the different styles of pods as well. I love the game
yeah,
that
very
come
cool.
out, all the different aliens, and I love the fact that obviously it was all serious as well as always. There's humor, especially with the pit droids, where one of them goes
Oh
through the
yeah.
engine and comes out, and they were like the famous
Yeah.
pit droids of the galaxy. I'd love to have seen like a little mini series of pod racing. That
I
made my day.
yeah, I would love for more live action pod racing because I know we got a little bit in season 2 of the Bad Batch, and I was like, man, I
Yeah,
really like the racing, and it's you can do so much when it's like spaceships and things like that. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't mind seeing it. Like you could probably do a series of like of something like that with pod racing, or I mean, I don't know
easily.
why that's not more into it because I know like one of the books. Um,
Yeah, they do.
that's
They do a spin off with Sebulba because Sebulba carries on pod racing after that.
yeah. And I know like
Like we
Anakin would
mentioned.
sneak off and watch the races when he was older in the Jedi Temple. He'd actually go and practice. I'm trying to think of what book that was in, if that was in Master and Apprentice or not. Where he'd go in the lower levels of Coruscant and he'd like pod race, and then he would like switch things around so he could watch big time pod races. Like he had himself a vice where he needed to watch pod racing because he never got
Oh,
over it.
class,
So
class.
I think that was Master and Apprentice. No, yeah, I can't. I'll have to. A Brotherhood
We'll check
maybe.
back. We'll check
Brotherhood.
back on it. We'll confirm that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's
I
definitely
absolutely pod racing.
yeah, because Master and Apprentice is Qui-Gon and Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan. So I think it was
Yeah.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And then next thing we'll talk about, I've already spoke about it briefly, I think, is our favourite moments, if you like. Again, we've both mentioned pod racing, so that's definitely already up there, I think, for both of us, it's safe to say. Um, the next one for me, again, blatantly obvious, it's going to be Darth Maul coming from behind those doors for the final battle. Again, that's a really obvious one for both of us. Again, Jimmy, isn't it, really, I think?
Yeah, oh yeah, easy.
Um,
Easy. I
yeah,
have a
for
weird
sure.
one. I have a
Go
weird
on.
one. One of my favorite moments is not really a moment in the movie, but it's the movie poster with Anakin out front of his like hut and his shadow is Vader.
Yes.
I have never seen a movie poster that impactful. You see that little kid, and then you see
Yeah.
Vader's shadow behind him. And I know that's not like a movie moment, but that was like the best movie poster I've ever seen. Like it just,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, like that's perfect.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's lots of little ones. There's always a bigger fish, you know.
Yeah, that was one of my ones.
Um,
Classic
I'm trying
lines.
to think.
I love the boss Nass as well with his reactions when he's shaking his chops both
Yeah,
times. You know, he agrees to help them, and then he's talking about he's to be punished.
finished. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was good. I think for me too, when the battle droids come out, when those big what are the heck are those things called?
Literally about to say that one as well. Droid
When they come rolling
transports
up and
with the
it's like those
music.
things open up and then yeah, the music's
Yeah.
so eerie, then they like boom, 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 and it drops. Those things are like 8 or 9 feet tall or whatever,
Yeah.
supposedly. And like it kind of overwhelming. I mean, I've seen that movie 100 times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, "Oh, how the Gungans gonna survive?" You know,
Yeah.
like because it's just this massive army, and it's kind of like imposing. Music, the
Yeah.
sound effects. Um, that's probably a really cool scene. Um, so yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. Other than like again, the double bladed lightsaber is probably one of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars.
Yeah. And I think another big scene from that movie, it doesn't really get talked about enough, I don't think, is the first time you see the Jedi Council
Oh yeah,
in that room. You know,
that's
you're
a good
looking around like,
call.
who's
That's
on
a
the
really good.
council? Who's on the council? Yoda's there straight away. You see him Yoda.
See
Then you see
Yariel
Samuel L.
Poof,
Jackson. You see Plo Koon. You see Kyle
over in
Mundy.
Jesus.
All of them. Yaddle's there as well. So
Utah.
again, you see another Yoda. Your mind's blowing at this point.
Yeah, yeah, because that's probably I don't know if Yaddle was in. I don't know how many of those characters were in like the Legends books or not, but I mean, you see Adi Gallia, Mace Windu, and yeah, that's a really good call. I never even thought about that really. Like the
Yeah.
first time you see the Jedi Council, because that starts the lore. Like, oh, that's a really good one. That's I never even thought about that as being like an impactful moment, but man,
Oh, big one for
that
me.
is
When
huge,
as a
especially
kid,
now reading the Living Force and
oh yeah, I'm halfway through that. But again, you've got to think of it from the perspective of, you've hardly seen any Jedi's or really any Sith to a degree, and you see that point and you go, "Wow, there's 10 Jedi in one room there." Essentially, your
yeah.
mind's blown. And just speaking about Sith and Jedi again, another big moment is where Maul speaks his only lines.
And it's not even Ray Park's voice.
No, yeah, that's even better. Um, but yeah, again, just seeing Maul in the flesh, and you're like, wow, those eyes, those
Yeah.
piercing eyes. But yeah, I think that's all really we've got for top moments, and that again, there's a lot
Yeah.
of mentions. I think the only thing now I think left to talk about as well is the additional things onto the film. So again, for me, we've mentioned it loads, Jimmy, but the music is
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah. I mean, they learned a lot because I mean they spoiled Qui-Gon's ending because they released the CD prior to it. And I think what was the song called? Qui-Gon's Fate or Qui-Gon's
Yeah,
Funeral or something. And
yeah,
everyone's like,
yeah,
oh no, like um so but yeah, the music's fantastic. I May the 4th, I was rocking out in the Jeep with um Duel of the Fates just blasting through.
yeah. I love it. I
Yeah,
could listen to the soundtrack for that film
yeah, it's
all
really,
day.
really good.
But
So,
yeah, and then the last thing before we shut up shop then is obviously just rating the film itself, even now. So again, I'll start us off because Jimmy, I know you've got a different perspective now, like you mentioned. So for me as a kid, it was always going to be 10 out of 10. Or at least 9 or 8. And my feelings ain't changed towards Phantom Menace. It's definitely up there in my top 5 favourite films, top 3 favourite films, even of Star Wars. Just because the impact it had on me as a kid. Again, just watching my daughter with it as well, just made me remember my times of it. And yeah, just things like Maul, the music, the pod racing, so many moments in that for me. I'm like, wow, and wow. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like when I saw it, as a 20-year-old butthead, I know everything and I'm going to criticize everything until the man I am now. And kind of changed a lot over the years. I would say it's a middle of the pack for me of all the Star Wars films. I'd probably get a bit like a 7.5. I think there's some really great moments. There's some things that, they're just kind of nitpicky, but yeah, 7.5 probably for me. I mean, I like it better than obviously the Attack of the Clones, but I think Revenge of the Sith was better. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I would say that. I probably would have given it a lower score when I first saw it in the theaters when it came out. Some of and I don't know if some of that stuff was valid. Some of it was just me being a dummy. But now taking a look at it, being objective and able to look at things a little bit differently, I think I'd say 7.5. So.
Nice. So, as always, explorers, let us know your thoughts and comments, any memories that you've remembered. Again, thank you so much to all those people, again, spreading the word, joining and commenting. Please keep your comments coming in as always. Explore the Force, all one word, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, as below. Again, don't forget, please like, share, and also please subscribe on YouTube. The numbers are growing. Become part of the family and join myself and Jimmy. So from me then, at last we reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Very good. And for all of us, we have spoken. We'll see you next week.